Now, a lot of you will remember that we started out with Gizmo and Woody in separate cages until I could introduce them to each other, make sure they'll get along okay before giving them the entire room. Also, I had their lighting fixtures, lights, and some shelves to start out with as well. Now you can also see that I bought some linoleum to put down to protect the floor. This is 6 foot by 12 foot, and it goes about 6 inches up the back wall there to protect the bottom of the wall as well. Then I added newspaper at the bottom, so if they go on it, it's easy and quick to clean, and it also catches any extra water coming out of the plants to add humidity in the air. And you can see I cut Woody's cage in half, and I'm building 2 hide boxes. I gotta finish painting the bottom one now, and just hang that cord back out of the way for the heat projector there. And then that way there'll be 2 hide boxes, one for each shelf. Now here for the shelves, I bought 2 12-foot long 20-inch wide shelves, cut them in half and used them on the walls so that they would have nice wide shelves to climb and lay and bask on. And I turned the shelves upside down so that they would have like a handrail on the outside. Now to hold these onto the walls, I used the biggest angle brackets that I could find, which were only about $2 each. They're very cheap, and those really give you a lot of support underneath those shelves. And I use toggle bolts to hold them to the walls because they can take a lot of weight. And so once I get the shelves up there, then say I use another shelf a little bit narrower, maybe 12 or 18 inches, and use that for a ramp, and I hold everything together with plastic ties. That way I can cut them if I need to take something off to clean it. Okay, so let's look at the lighting now. Since I was using the whole room, I wanted a lot of light, but I didn't want to spend too much, so I wanted to use what I had on hand. Now I had a ceiling fan, so I put in 3 60-watt halogen bulbs up there. I had a leftover 4-foot long fluorescent light fixture, so I put 2 tubes in there. I did have to buy a couple of silver dome lamps, and the 2 on the right hand side of the picture are where the Mega Ray 100-watt self-ballasted lights are, which give you UVA, UVB, and heat. In the middle there's 2 fluorescents, 1 tube and 1 compact fluorescent that is not UVB. And then on the left side there are 2 halogen bulbs that give you the basking heat and more color and light, but no UVB down that end. That way they can have a choice of whether they want UV or no UV when they're basking. And this gives you a lot of light, plus the light that comes into a 4-foot by 4-foot window there. And so you want to give them a whole lot of light, and this was the way I could do it and use up some of the fixtures I had, and not have to spend a whole lot of money. Now if you didn't have any of these materials on hand, yes, the room would cost a little bit more to make. It didn't cost me very much at all, but I had a whole lot of leftover stuff from having iguanas for so many years. So when you can use things that you got on hand, you can save a lot of money. But I'll give you a rundown of what everything cost if you had to buy it all brand new. Now one thing I wanted to add in too about Woody's cage, the red and white one, that was made, didn't cost me anything. I had some leftover plexiglass and leftover T111 wood siding and some other pieces of wood from projects working around the house and when I redid the siding on the house. And that's why it's red and white, because that's the color of the house, and that's the paint and the wood that I had left over. Now Gizmo's cage was a donation because she's a foster iguana and I do rescue, and so I got her cage for free as a donation, which was really nice. If not, I probably would have had to spend $150–200 to build that cage for her. Okay, so here's a rundown of about what it would cost if you had to buy absolutely everything. It's a whole lot less than an already made real fancy cage. It's probably just a tiny bit more than what it would be to build a 6-foot by 6-foot by 4-foot cage. But you know, you can see how much more room they have and how much nicer it is. So it's a good deal.